Hello, hello, hello. How are you? Patricia here, Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the United States, but more specifically in Alaska. And of course, I do not have my desk area all set up. How could I start like this? Anyway, we ended up the other day with this. Okay, we haven't decorated it or anything. And if you've already watched that video, you noticed that I put this in upside down. I meant to put it in, now this one's started at least putting pages in, put it in like this, okay? What I mean is this has an extra flap on it. I could actually turn it this way or this way. Doesn't really matter which way it goes, just whichever it fits better. And when I put it in here, I put this one in upside down, okay? It's not really upside down if this is what you want, okay? And I'm going to show you a way to fix this if you want, and it actually gives you an extra page. But what I've done is I started a new one so that I can show you how it should be done. Again, the shoulds and the should nots and the mistakes and the whatever can almost always be overcome. And I'm going to show you how to do that. So, first of all, I'm not going to cover measurements and all of that because we've already done that. But I'm going to grab my glue. And this goes, remember, these are set up exactly the same. We scored them exactly the same as we did each other, okay? So I am going to, again, put this behind this flap, not in front of it. Be sure it's behind this flap. And I'm going to put my... I'll show you what I'm using here. Woo! I did make a little bit of a mistake there. Did you catch that? I went right beyond my score line, and I do not want to do that. So I'm going to scrape some glue off. And then, by the way, I told you I'd tell you what I'm using. The Tombow Multi-Liquid Glue. And I'm going to put this right up to, I did not get all of that glue out of there. I've got to get that out because that could cause me problems. I got right over that score line, and I do not want to go over that score line. So I'm going to put this in. Now, the reason I love the Tombow is because it gives me a minute or two to move this around if I need to. Now I've sort of got glue all over my fingers, but all right, I'm going to stack that up. And now, whoops, it's not even. I want to be sure it's even. So, doesn't give you long, just barely. Okay, it's still just a smidgen bit off, but I'm not going to worry about it. Now, I've got a little extra glue on there, so I'm going to take my glue eraser and erase that once it dries. That one's not quite dry, and this one. Okay, so I got a little bit on there. Okay, so it's just about dry. Get that out of there. Woo! My hand's a little tiny bit wet. Dry that up. There we go. Okay, so now that is where we had gotten to, and we were just fine on it. But the mistake that I made was I glued this down, and remember I squeezed the edges in. And I didn't mean to glue that down. What I meant to do was to glue this face up, okay, like this. Now, once I glue this face up, it gives me, or spine up, I should say, it gives me this extra flap out. And what I ended up doing was gluing it like this, okay? Either way, truly is not a mistake. But I'm going to show you how I meant for it to be. My goodness, I did get just a little too much glue on here. So I'm going to erase that. Now, this is not a Stampin' Up! Product, but I did list it on the first video I did on, well, I didn't list this specifically, but I listed an Amazon list that has all the items that I use that are not Stampin' Up! So what I'm going to do, again, I want to make a pocket, so I'm going to put... So I am going to put, I don't want to put it on this one. I want to put it on this one. Okay, and I'm just going to make a pocket, like I said. So I'm going to put the littlest bit there, and I got to get that out of the way. It's trying to fall into my space. Okay, and right there, then... Now, the easy way to do this is to line it up right where you want it. I said the easy way, and then I'm making it difficult because I'm trying to show you. Put it right in that crease, in that fold. And once you've got it set, then pull it over. And again, you want to push that in just a little bit so that you have this pocket space. Now, you could glue this whole thing down. You know how I just glued this down, that right here, this a minute ago? You could do that. I am going to move this up just a little bit. Sorry about my finger being in there. Whoops, hold on. Just a second. Let me fix this. All right, I think that's better. Okay, so I'm feeling a little bit of glue still here. Just a little bit. Okay, so anyway, I put this on my Amazon list, and so if you want to go check that out, if you want to buy it, then there you go. All right, now, basically, we have our book. No, we don't. We haven't glued this down. Again, we want a pocket. So I'm going to put it on this side just a little bit. Sounds like a song, doesn't it? Okay, there. And again, push it down, but push it toward the center. You're not really giving it a whole lot of space, but it does give it enough that you can put something in there. I think I showed you the other day. I've got enough space to put something in there. And of course, the whole purpose of making this, there we go, is to put stuff in it. All right. Now this time, I told you last time when I was making this that I was going to use that wood grain paper. It is called, let me show you that again. Whoops. It is retired, in good taste. So you can't get that one. But kind of what I'm wanting you to do anyway is to use old stuff. I don't want you using, I mean, you can use the new stuff if you like it, but what I'm wanting you to do is so many of us have so many designer series papers that are retired and we're not using them. So I want you to do that. And that's what I've got with this one. This is the one I'm going to go ahead and use today. And I've got some of it cut right here. And Dainty Flowers is this one. Again, it's old, it's retired. You can't get it unless you can get it from somebody on Marketplace or something like that. But I also told you I would show you this one. Now, I'm not trying to confuse the issue here, guys, by showing you too many things. But this one is currently available, and it is Countryside Inn 12 by 12 designer series paper. And that is the one that I showed you from the very beginning, okay? And in the first video did a much more thorough job of showing you that. So, all those aside, we are going to now start decorating this. I love this, but I'm going to use this for the front, and I've already cut it. Now, what I wanted to show you on here was how to cut it. Using, and I even talked about it briefly the other day when I did the first video, is if you have a measuring utensil like this one that does not have really good markings on, see, it doesn't even show me what 4.5 inches is. I mean, it's there, but I sort of have to count it out. And that so frustrates me. I don't like that. I could use this, okay? I could use my mat, my glass mat, or I can, and this is what I like to do. Let me show you this. Place my paper down on here where I need for it to be. Go over here where the end is. Be sure I'm on the right thing because, see, I've got paper going all the way across here. And then mark it with my pencil. Now, I want to caution you right here before we go any further. I do not want to do this first. I want to do this. And the reason is because if I cut off the bottom, then all of this is the correct size for my book. Okay, so I'm not going to use that paper. I'll use a new one here in just a minute. But this is going to go on the front. Again, the papers you put in here, they matter to you, but they probably don't matter to anybody else unless you're giving it to them. Okay, so don't make the paper the issue, or the designer series paper. Make your own if you want. Use, I mean, there's so many ways you could cover one of these books. What I want to show you is how to do it. So, the next thing we want to do, I've already got some of these cut out. These two are going to be exactly the same size, and so they're going to go there. And then if I open my book, I have got, now, I sort of did make a mistake here. I meant to leave this open, and I had opened that for a reason. But you can't. Oh, it's still going to fit. Oh, so I didn't make a mistake. Am I good or what? So, look at this. I can put this one slightly under the gap right there, and then I don't have a double space. Now, let me show you what I mean by that. If I put this on here like this and cut it out, and then, so let me put this as if it's that side, okay? And then I put this on here. You see how I have a double wide gap there? But if I put this slightly under, and then put this on here, I have the single width. You know, does it matter? Let's look. You're going to know the difference because you're creating your book. But is anybody else going to know the difference? Probably not. Okay, so let's look at this. This is the double wide gap right here. And I put my book in there, so is it really gonna matter? It is entirely up to you. That's you. Okay? So, there we go. I'll put that aside again. All right, so I am not gluing, that one I'm just gonna leave there, sitting there. I am not gonna glue these down yet because what I want to do with them, I think I have glue. Yep, I got enough glue on this morning. I tell you what. Hold on one sec. All right, there we go. Sorry, I stopped the video for a second to wipe up that glue. Another reason I love the glass mat. I was about to tell you that one of the best ways to clean up a glass mat is to use hand sanitizer. I hate hand sanitizer though. Any of you? It's just not good stuff. That alcohol on your hands and blah, blah, blah. So I don't like to use it, but I have used it to clean up. But on this glass mat, I wiped it up with water. I just love that. Another reason to love the glass mat. Okay, so we are now, though, going to put in some magnets. So that's the kind of closure we want on this book. And you can see everything is all, well, that's heavier. So it all attracts each other, all right? It's all magnets. They're good, strong magnets. Basic Gray is the brand name on these two. I don't even remember the brand name on that one. But I love these Basic Gray. And you can get, when you order them, you get both sizes, or at least in the information I put on the Amazon down below. I'm going to go ahead and use... started to say I'm going to use the bigger ones, but it doesn't matter really. But we're going to go ahead and use these because I've already got them out. So what I do, hello, that's the pair no, I'm not. I'm going to use, well, those two are sticking just fine. Okay. Put that back in there. Whoa. They like to cling, I tell you what. All right, that one. All right, put it up there. That's why they put them in these little pop-out things. Okay, make sure you've got the two opposite sides together. Okay, so they're together, and I actually want to leave them together. So what I'm going to do is peel off the little sticky protective thing, and then I'm going to put some glue on there because I want to be sure they're good and stuck. Okay, and then I want to put it not too terribly close to the edge, but somewhat close to the edge, like that. All right. Now I'm going to peel up my second backing, and this is when it's handy to have these nails, but there we go. Okay, throw that away. You definitely don't need that. Put some more glue on. Now, do not put your glue on your paper. You want your glue on your cardstock. And I kind of want to give it some space. So you see how I'm pushing it out a little bit? I am not pulling it in. I am pushing it out because this is where my the edge, okay, this is, so I'm not making sense of this. All right, I've already got my glue on there. So I'm going to push that seam out, make sure it's even, and then I'm going to push down, okay? Give it a minute or two to dry, and that's so that my book can expand. If I, even now, with no pictures in this has already got some room here. So, some width to it, okay? So, if I had put this seam really tight, then I don't have any room for this to expand, to get a little bit bigger, all right? So, by doing it this way, by pushing that out, I have room for this to expand. I hope that makes sense to you. All right, once it's nice and dry, then I'm going to reach in, be sure I pull these magnets apart. There we go. Okay, now I can glue this in. Okay, so I'm going to do that right now, and it's going to cover up. You know why I have so much glue on this is it's a brand new bottle. Okay, woohoo. Okay, and now decide, which is up, which is down, etc. You can't even see that magnet. It's invisible to the eye, and until somebody picks it up and does something with it. Now, which paper do I want? I think I want this one right here. I don't know why. That's just... Oh well, doesn't really matter. I'm going to put my glue on there. Okay. Okay. And there's enough space, if I really rubbed that around there, you could tell, but there's enough space, just enough to cover that. And now, ta-da! When I click it closed, it stays closed. Is that not? I could do that all day long. Okay, let's put this one on the front. Now, let me show you the difference between the one that I showed at the book I showed at the very, very beginning and the book I'm showing you now. These two have very similar, I mean, it's that same type, it is the same page, paper. This one, I did two completely different papers, all right? This one does not have the magnet. I have to use my ribbon. Where's my ribbon? To tie it, okay? Now, I could even with, my goodness, I still have more glue on the back of this. I really, really got too much glue, didn't I? Where's my glue eraser now? Okay, we'll find it in a minute. It's going to be covered up, so it doesn't really matter. Now, if you want to, I have not cut the back yet on this, but if you want to put that ribbon on the back before you bind this, then you want to be sure that you glue it now. Okay, so you put it on there and then glue it in. Now, I'm not going to glue this one because I've got the magnet, but I'm going to show you this. If I were to be going to glue this, I put my ribbon on, I tie it, and to be honest, I love the ribbon option. The ribbon option to me is absolutely wonderful because the book can grow as it needs to with whatever you've put inside of it. What I'm doing is I'm looking for my little reverse tweezers here. So I'm going to hold my ribbon, tie my bow. Okay. You could cut it if you chose to do so, but you don't have to. All right. That's not a very well tied bow, but we're not worried about that right now. Okay, so I've got this. Then glue your paper on the back, because if you glue it on, just put it down and glue it on, you may not have enough ribbon to tie your bow. If you were to put it even Steven, which I sort of did, okay, like this, then your bow's going to be in the middle. Now, if you want your bow to be in the middle, that's fine, okay? But just be aware of that. Think about it before. I usually put, because I do like my ribbon tied over here, so I usually put this on. Hello, come on, straighten it. Well, hello, come out of there. About like this, okay? Make it even this way. And that way, when you go to tie your bow, it's going to be pretty much even. Now, you can always cut these, and this one does need to be cut because we're fraying a smidgen bit there. There we go. Okay? All right. So, there we go on putting the ribbon on the back. I want to show you how to make some of these other items in the book. Okay, there's this one. I'm not going to show that one quite yet, but I will. I'm going to show you this one and this one. Okay, this one is a sort of waterfall type thing. It's to use for whatever you want it to be for. This one, you open up, hello, like this. Okay, that one is so easy, and you're gonna just love it. I think I love it. Okay, and because I am using this paper de papier, oui. I'm going to go in here and find this. Now, you're going to see both sides of it. So, you're going to first cut it in half. To cut it in half, because it's 12 by 12, I'm going to cut it at 6 inches. Okay, there we go. Cut in half. Then I am going to turn this sideways and go to 4. Remember, this is 12 inches. If I score it at 4 inches, I will have 3 folds. 1, and then I need 8 inches. There we go. And score. I need to do exactly the same thing on the other piece. So 4 inches. Be sure to get it right on that line. Be sure it lines up. It's up against the edge. Woohoo! Score. You don't want to push too hard. I almost pushed too hard right there. 8 inches. Again, score. The reason you don't want to push too hard, by the way, is because this is designer series paper, not cardstock. Okay? With cardstock, you can push quite a bit harder if you want to do that. All right. So then I'm going to come in here and glue these two together. I'm going to glue this last section on this first section. Okay? So, let's glue this. Now, I want these to stay together, so I put plenty of glue on there. Line up, but do not go over the score line. Okay, be sure they're even, which they were not. It's a good thing I turned it over. There we go. All right, now you decide, do you want this on the front or do you want this on the front? And I want this. Simply fold it. Where's my bone folder? There we go. And there we go. And now I have a really cute, oops, I did get a little extra glue on. It's that brand new bottle. Maybe don't use a brand new bottle when you're doing this. I'll let it dry and then I'll erase it. But there we go. Now this side, I could simply leave it like this or put pictures on it. But these are perfect for putting pictures on because it's just a background. Whatever floats your boat. And as I mentioned last time, you could cut your picture. This is like the perfect size, by the way, to cut your picture. So this is 3 5/8 by 4 3/8. There you go. Or 3, that was not correct. 4 and 3. What is that? 1, 2, 3/16. There we go. Okay, so perfect size. The reason I say that is because if you put it like this and then you write up here, now you could put a piece of white cardstock or even, you know, a green or a yellow or whatever floats your boat. And then put this one up here, right down here, down here. You see how I'm doing that? Just kind of, or whatever works for you. Just be sure you take into account your folds. Okay, so how beautiful is that? I just love it. Okay, so that's that one. The other one, the waterfall, hold on one second. Okay, for the waterfall, first of all, let's look at it. Let me pull it out of the book again. Here we go. All right, so these papers are somewhat evenly spaced. Pretty well done. But if I take and stack these up, let's measure this just because. 4 1/4, so it is half. And so I'm going to take, I've got 5 pieces of notebook paper or printer paper, not notebook paper because that would have lines. I'm going to go to 4 1/4. Did I say 4 1/4? That doesn't seem right. Oh, it is right. I just put it in here wrong. Hello. Cut on the short side at 4 1/4. Hello. All right. So cutting it in half at 4 1/4. Save this for another one. Or, you know, if you were to mess up, whatever floats your boat. Okay. Then I'm going to separate my papers. And I am going to evenly space them. I could line them up on my grid, but to be honest, I'm not all that worried about it. Okay, if I don't think that's enough, make it a little bit more. Okay. Now, the reason I like doing it a little bit more, okay, something like that, then I'm going to fold over the top. The reason I like doing it a little bit more, I'll show you in just a minute. Fold this over until that looks about even. Okay, then make sure it's lined up on either side. Give it a nice crease. Take your bone folder. And voila, I have made it. Now, I did 5 pages. On this one, I did 4. Whatever floats your boat. To be honest, it doesn't matter. Whatever you want to do. How many times have I said float your boat today? Quite a few. All right, here's another thing you can do with this, and I really like this idea, is take and give it a little bit of character. And on each one of these, give it a little bit of a tear. Okay? Try to make each of those that you tear off about the same size. Okay? I'm just holding it down over here on the left-hand side, but I could have already stapled this, or however you want to put it together. I like staples. There we go. You see how that works? That's just, it's kind of cool. I hope you can see that. Can you see the, there you go. Just keep tearing that. Okay, really doesn't take long. A little bit of therapy to that anyway. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and staple this. Oh, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. Because what I want to do is put it, let's get rid of those, put it inside the base that I'm going to use before I do that. So I want this one. I really think 5 is going to be too much, so I'm going to take one of those off. Okay, so what I want is something about like this. So I did this, I believe it was 4 1/4. Yes, whoop, wrong way. Yes, it is. So I'm going to do this about 4 1/2 and then fold over that top. All right, so we're going to go with 4 1/2. There we go. We will probably use this to make a pocket somewhere in here. And let's put this on here about like that. So I want my seam or my fold to go right there. Sorry, I dropped my paper. Okay, leave that up there. Let's give that a good crease. There we go. All right. So now that might be too tall. It is too long. It is. So I'm going to cut off. Let's see. I want about 1 inch, I think. So right there is about 1 inch. I'm going to cut that off. Come on. There we go. Perfect. I like it. Okay. You see how sometimes there's really not even, or doesn't have to be, a lot of measuring with this? Okay, be sure I have that evenly spaced as much as I can. Hope you can see that. There we go. Now I'm going to staple it. And I just got one of those tiny staplers, you know, with little tiny staples, whatever you like. Regular staples work just fine. And then I need a piece to cover the top of that. So what? I've got some scraps here, maybe. Let's see. What's probably going to work the best is the back of one of these. I just love these papers. I wish they were... Oh, that's what I want. The polka dots. That's what I want. Love that. Okay. And because if you remember, I just did about 1 inch, I am going to cut off about 3/4 of an inch. So let's give ourselves 3/4 of an inch. There we go. And if you remember, it was 4 1/2, so I'm going to give myself 4 1/4. There we go. And, whoops, here we are. Oh, isn't that pretty? Okay, put my glue on here. Not too much glue, Patricia. Less is more. Okay. There we go. Could move that over a smidgen bit. There we go. Finish tearing my pieces. Now, having done this, because I'm tearing it, hello, I should have made it 5 pieces. But because I didn't, okay, I'm not worried about it. I can put something on here, take note, or whatever I want. I can make it pretty, okay? So there's this. Now, where did the other one go? So that, well, we just made this and we just made that, but I wanted to show you, oh, Here we go. Okay, so which do you like better, the straight edge or the torn edge? I can't decide. And notice this, I made this one wider too. How silly. It doesn't matter. It's your book. You can do what you want with it. Yay. All right, so let's put this in here somewhere. Oh, how did we put this one here? Because we put a corner. So to do that, you remember that? Let me show you the other book. See, this is where this one went. Right there. So I cut an edge. So to do that, I cut a square. The square was not measured like that. 6 inches. So to make a 6-inch square, hello, just cut 6 inches. And where is my, this is Starry Sky, by the way. This goes in there. I have not put my background pieces. Don't worry about that. We will. I know I'm almost done, but where's my Starry Sky? Well, I don't see it. To make your, oh, here it is. Okay, so I am going to cut my 6x6. I had already scored that at 6 inches, so that worked perfectly. Ooh, hello. And 6 inches. Got to do the other side because got to have a square. All right, there we go. Now, on, why do I keep putting away my trimmer? On this, I want a pocket, a triangular pocket. So I'm going to match up, whoops, on both ends, the corner in that trench. Okay, I'm holding it, as you can see. I'm lifting it up, lifting up the bar, and I'm placing my cutter right in the middle and then cutting both ends. Okay, that way I don't dirty up, so to speak, an edge, because I certainly don't want to do that on the corner. Now, having done that, if I'm going to create my pocket, okay, if you'll notice, this is a little too big, just the smidgenest bit too big, but I don't need all of that space here. So what I'm going to do is sort of cheat. It's not really a cheat. It's what I often do, and I should have done this before I cut it, but I forgot. Get the cutter piece out of the way, and I think I moved it, and score along that corner at 1/4 inch and score. Now this way I can put it flat on there, okay, and score. Then what I do is cut this corner off. Just whomp it, okay? Don't go beyond the, let me see if I can move this so you can see it better. Don't go beyond the score lines, okay? All you want to do is go right up to them. Now you could, you know, chomp and chomp, you know, that kind of stuff, but you can just go straight. Then fold those, okay? Fold them up. Then you do want to use your bone folder before you put your glue on there. Another thing you might want to do is cut this off. See how that's folded over and there. Cut it off, okay? Then give it a good score so that it'll lay somewhat flat. But by doing this, you are giving yourself some, you know how we scrunched those pockets earlier? Let me show you what I mean. We pushed them in. Give yourself a thin little bead. Now, I could cut off a little bit more of that so it doesn't show, but whatever floats your boat. Remember, we like those boat floaters. And now, do not go over the score line, and do not go over the edge, but put that in there. Be sure that your edge folds up. Now, I did this one, this pocket, the same color. If you remember over here, I had done it an alternate color. I also had put the background in before I put the pocket in. But you don't even have to put a background paper in there if you don't want. Now, I think what I'm going to do is trim the bottom of this off a little bit. Like about 1/4 of an inch. Okay. And there it goes. How cute. Don't you love it? Okay. So now, if you are ready, go ahead. I'm going to put this in because I'm ready to do it without getting too much glue again. The edges are the most important part, but you do want to put some glue in the middle. Okay. Preferably without getting it all over yourself. Slide it under there if you can, and if that's the look you want. Okay. And there we go. Now I could put this one in that pocket as well, wherever it works for you. All right. So don't forget, if you want your magnets in there, if you want your ribbon in there, put them in before you put your papers on. If you want a paper behind this, now I probably am going to put a paper in there, especially a designer series paper, especially since I made this one the same color. Okay, it'll give it more of a contrast. It'll be prettier, etc., etc. Is that, it's not wanting to go. There we go. Okay. Also, if you want to put a designer series paper on the front of this pocket, you can do that simply by cutting it. So now that I've done the edges, I need to measure. I folded the edges under. I need to measure this, and it would be 5 and an 1/8. And I would cut 5 1/8 score, cut it in half, and then I have still 2 edges that are 2 pockets. Now, I could turn this over and make it a pocket here. I could put it, you can't put it on there, but I could put it here, okay? It does not have to be, I could even put, wherever you want to put it. Could put it in another book, okay? But you know enough now in creating your book. You need to decide, do you want this flap to go out like this, or do you want it to go, where's the other one? Or do you want it to go as another page? Okay, so this one does not flip out. By the way, next time I'll show you how to make a flip out for this one. I had said I would do it, but we're already at 48 minutes. So 49 minutes. All right. Hope you enjoyed that. If you would, I would love it if you would give me a thumbs up, if you would share this video. If you have not gone back and gotten the measurements, go back to the first video. I'll put a link in that in the description below for that. If you've not subscribed, please subscribe. That so helps with the algorithm on YouTube, and I would love it. Thank you so much.